My guest today is one of my personal favorite female impersonators. She's an amazing drag queen, originally from Iowa and currently resides in Chicago, Illinois. Known for her amazing stint as a runner-up for season 4 of the Boulet Brothers Dragula. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Sigourney Beaver. Hi, Sigourney.
Yay! Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here and also not be here and be at my house.
Yeah, because you've been very busy the last couple months, haven't you? Like you've
A
done.
little bit. I mean, I'm starting to get busy again after having a very slow year before
Yeah,
having a busted knee.
yeah, we'll definitely
Yeah.
talk about that, but it's really nice to see you kind of get your footing back into it. Literally. I mean it wasn't your foot that got injured, it was your knee, but you know what I mean.
Trying to get a leg up on it.
Exactly. No, you were just on the Dragula season 5 tour,
Yes.
specifically for the Chicago part. That
Yes, that was
particular.
their first stop on the tour too.
Really? Wow.
Yes,
How did
yes. So no pressure at all. And it's always like whenever you do a tour, the first show is kind of like a dress rehearsal a little bit,
Mhm.
like without having a proper dress rehearsal. It's kind of where you find all of the bumps and try to smooth them out for like the following dates. But it went really good.
That's yeah, for sure. You performed with Blackberry, your bestie. And
I
then
love Blackberry. And
I
I hadn't gotten to see her. I hadn't gotten to see any of them since the season aired
mhm.
because
What
I've
was
been at
it?
home. I've been stuck at home with a broken leg, so I haven't seen anybody.
What
But
was it
now
like?
I got to see all four of them all at one time in the same room. It was so exciting.
Yeah, what was it like seeing them, especially Blackberry in that context? Because doing some research, you guys performed together, you hung out together a lot. So
Do you want to know my favorite story about Blackberry?
go ahead, do it.
Okay. I was in Houston. That's where Blackberry lives. She booked me to do her show. I think it was in like Spring, Texas. I'm not sure about the name, but it was in this tiny little bar. It's one of the ones that you can still smoke inside.
Wow.
It was a little bit country. I loved it. I had a great time. Blackberry performed. She did the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, and in the middle of the song, she ran into the bathroom, grabbed a plunger, ran up to the bar with the plunger, had the bartender pour Fireball in the plunger, and then she drank it.
That is
I have a
nasty.
video.
Oh my God, that's
It's
nasty.
it's incredible. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen.
Oh, that is so crazy. It's nasty, but like I would live. I would give
It
her
was
20.
terrific. That and I also someone brought a sugar glider into the bar that night. And I'm like, "Oh, you shouldn't bring animals into the bar. It's too loud for them, but also, can I pet it?" That was a good
Oh,
night.
oh, for sure. I mean, like I would give Blackberry a 50 if I saw that. Like any girl perform that with the plunger and everything. Like I would give her a 50.
Hopefully she brings it back. Hopefully she puts that in her repertoire.
And
I don't
what
know if she's done it since,
I
but I'd
I've
like to
not
think so.
I've not seen Blackberry perform live, but I really want to. Um,
She's really, really good. She's so good. Truly. I love getting to watch her because she is from Texas. And I don't know if you're familiar with Texas drag at all. Texas is a really big pageant state.
mhm,
So a lot of those performers are really solid performers as far as not having to rely on moving and dancing and running around a lot. Like it's so powerful to be able to captivate an audience and just stand in one spot. And she's so fucking good at that.
yeah.
So good.
No,
So
yeah,
good.
I'm very familiar with well, I'm familiar with like the Texas like pageantry of it all and of like, drag over there. And so
Oh, really?
yeah, well, I haven't seen it personally, but like I love drag. So I'm
Same,
like,
same. Big fan.
yeah.
Huge.
So I'm like familiar that it's very pageant. It's very like old school drag,
You
which
should go.
I
You
do.
should go. You should go when they have like US of A or something.
Yeah, I have a place to
Yeah.
say. It's my
Yeah.
my best friend Jericho
US of
Cabrera.
A National, they'll do 3 nights of preliminary and then they'll do one night of final night. So it's like 4 days in Dallas of like page.
Yeah. If my friend Jericho Cabrera can answer his phone so I can like stay at his place, like I will I will go there immediately. But he's a very bad texter, so
Well, that's all right because I think that they just had it, or it's. I'm pretty sure it just passed, so you'll have a whole year to prep for it and to hunt this guy down.
I will definitely do that. I've only really been to LA and Seattle for the most part. I've been to Chicago, but it was during the weekday, so I didn't really get to see any drag there. But we're working on that. We're working on seeing drag everywhere across
There's
this
drag in
country.
Chicago all the time,
Mhm.
like every night of the week. It's
Interesting.
wild. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Especially coming from Iowa to here. I was like, there's so much drag. There are so many performers. I can't even keep count of them all.
Yeah, actually, that was a good segue into like you because we haven't like talked about you, Sigourney, yet. I wanted to talk about like the scene in Iowa at the time because like that's where you got your start. There was in Iowa.
Yeah.
Tell us about that because were there other AFAB queens at the time? Like, how did you?
Nope.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
There were not. There
Yeah,
were not. I was the first one in the whole state. I was the first AFAB queen to be on a showcast in the Midwest as well.
wow, like
Yeah.
that is crazy to think. How like what inspired you to like get in drag? Like, what performer, what show did you see where you're like, man,
I've
I want to do that?
I mean, who wouldn't want to do it? I've
Yeah.
I've loved to drag for a really long time. I remember when I was really little, and my mom showed me John Waters hairspray, and looked at Divine, and she was like, "You know, that's a man." And I said, "No." I was shocked. I was like, "I can't believe it." I was like, "That looks like a lady," and I thought it was so cool. I was like, "What a hilarious trick!" I love that. And so I've always been a fan since. But actually, it was a movie that really, like, kind of got me pointed in the direction a little bit more clearly. And it's really great. And you should check it out. It's called Connie and Carla. Have you heard of it?
I've not, no.
Okay. It's Tony Collette, and then it's the girl from My Big Fat Greek Wedding,
Okay.
and they're two friends that work at a shitty like dinner theater in an airport in like the middle of nowhere, and they accidentally witness their boss get whacked by the mob, so they have to go into hiding. They decide to run away to LA, and they disguise themselves as drag queens,
Okay.
so none of the other drag queens know that they're not actually men dressing as women,
Oh,
and they
that's
keep up this whole charade, and they, like, turn the bar around and make it really successful, blah blah blah. It's great. Then they get found out in the end, and like no one's mad, which is great. And then they get to keep doing drag.
oh, that's so cool. I mean,
Yeah.
the one thing that I took out of like your conversation, like the way you kind of discovered drag was kind of similar to how I discovered drag. Like I
Yeah.
also watched Hairspray, like the
Yeah.
original, the OG one. I was in Saudi Arabia at the time. I'm Saudi. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so I was living there. My mom was there at the time, and she introduced me to Hairspray, and I was just so infatuated with Divine, and I didn't know that Divine like the same thing. Like I didn't know that Divine was just a man playing a woman, and I also didn't know he was also the producer of the TV show, like Corny Collins. Like he played both those characters in that
oh
movie.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, wow, that's so cool that he did that. But like at the time, I was very conservative Muslim type boy, and I was like, this doesn't mean anything to me. Like
But
this,
secretly you were hooked.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And what was it now? 16 years later, 15 years later, I'm a non-binary queer person. um, and it's really interesting because like we kind of discovered drag the same way.
Ta-da! It's so different than the other hairspray that came out with Amanda Bynes in it.
I was very offended by that movie at the time because like
What?
here's the thing. I did not know like Saudi Arabia. That I was still living in Saudi Arabia when that movie came out. I was like, "Oh, they modernized the original movie that I love a lot." And so when I saw the John Travolta thing, the John Travolta movie, I was like, "This is just going to be a remake of the John Waters movie." And then they were singing in it and I was like, "Nope."
That's because it's adapted from the stage show that was created because of the John Waters movie.
Yep, that's what I like. I did not know that. I did not know it was a Broadway play. So I just thought, ugh, they're doing this thing where they're making things into
It's
music.
really good. If you get a chance to go see it, it's really
I,
good. I
I,
like it.
I actually did see it. Like
Yeah?
I got my like my little my biases or like my like unculturedness in like theater. Like I basically I grew up and I saw the musical and I really do love the musical a lot. So there's that.
There's that.
So you started in Iowa. You were basically like just carving a space for yourself in Iowa for a long time. Like, what were the challenges in doing that specifically?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything, literally. So the the long and the short of it was I wanted to do drag. I went to my local favorite gay bar. I told the show director I want to do drag, and she said you can be a drag king. And I said no, I want to be beautiful, like a woman, like high femme drag. And she said no, you can't do that. And I said why? And she said people wouldn't get it. It would be disrespectful. It would be a slap in the face to real drag queens. Um, it just wouldn't be good. And I was crushed. But I still wanted to do it because I was also like I was starting to become friends with all the queens. I'd go to the show all the time. And you know how it is like being friends with all of the queens and you're in the crowd watching and you're like I just want to go and like hang out and do that with them and hang out in the dressing room and all the good things that like, the little perks that come along with also sweating under a spotlight. Who wouldn't want that?
No, yeah.
And I was really determined to find a way to get in there and do that. And so I had to start doing burlesque because that was allowed, but I couldn't do drag, but I could do burlesque. So I had to do burlesque for a whole year. And the entire time I kept asking, like, can I do drag? Can I do drag? Can I do drag? And she was like, nope, 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 nope. Finally, I went to Dallas and I went to US of A and I saw that there was a national title holder that was an AFAB drag queen.
Wow. There you
So
go.
I went home and I told Muffy, look, I said, there's an AFAB queen. I was like, this exists. This is it. This is it. Like, this exists. It's real. It's a thing. And I said, if they have a pageant for it, which you, as like a pageant girl, like, there's no way to make it more legitimate. And she said, okay. But then I couldn't get a paid booking until I had a title of my own.
Wow.
So then I had to run for a pageant, and that's how I got into pageants.
Look at that. Was the when you saw the Miss US of A in Houston in Dallas, sorry, like was that the first time you ever saw someone that was basically like you or
Yeah.
someone like you?
Yeah. Because it was still like there's always been women in drag looking like women forever, but it's just not something that I had ever seen and I had been told it didn't exist. So it was just this amazing like revelation uh that just spilled over me that this dream of mine can come true.
Yeah, and it did. I mean, like you're
Ta-da!
look at you now. I mean, you eventually got that the booking, but you like it still took a while for you to actually get paid. And you I didn't see anything about like your titles and everything. Well, what titles do you hold? Like did you win any of the pageants that you were a part of?
So the first title that I actually had, because I had to have a title in order to get a paid booking, was Miss Blazing Saddle,
Oh yeah.
which is my home bar in Des Moines, which is where I started. And then I competed nationally for Miss Gay US of A Diva, which is US of A's AFAB Queen division. I competed nationally 3 times and I lost nationally 3 times. But I made top 12 every time.
Yeah. You're,
Yeah.
you're still really good. I mean, that's still really
Thanks.
good thing to celebrate.
Thanks.
I mean, you didn't win, but like I would be proud of that accomplishment.
I mean, it was you know, everything has a way of kind of balancing out.
Mhm.
So for all of those years of me competing and working so hard and making top 12 and not getting it, and then having the national promoters tell me, we think you're really good, but we just don't understand the white contacts. We don't like the tattoos showing during gown. We just don't think that you would be a good representative for the system.
Oh, that's bogus. I mean, I could,
Yeah,
yeah, because your tattoos, like that's Sigourney Beaver to me, like the tattoos, the white contact lenses, the big hair. I mean, like
same.
you're pretty much an even sluttier version of
Don't forget the
Elvira.
corset. Don't forget the corset. That's number
How could I forget?
one.
Yes, you're a snatch to the gods, like that's for sure. You're like the slutty, like the even more sluttier version of Elvira to me.
Thank you. That's a
I
compliment.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, how long have you been performing in Iowa before you moved over to Chicago to perform there?
So we moved here in the fall of 2017. And I just realized last week that I've been doing drag for 8 years.
Wow.
So, and it feels weird because anytime that someone asks me, how long have you been doing drag? I just automatically am like, oh, 5 years. But now it's 8 going on 9. That's a long time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Dragula was 5 years ago, like your season.
No,
Like,
it wasn't.
was it? Didn't it? Did
2021. That was 3 years
no.
ago.
Okay, sorry. Yep, you're right. You're right. I have it written down and I totally forgot. I try to make you sound way older than.
Listen, and I don't need any help with that. I've got mirrors. All right. I can start to see it in my forehead.
Yeah. When you moved to Chicago, like, did opportunities change for you? Like, did you start running into more AFAB queens?
Well, yeah. I mean, so we moved here. This is such a stupid story. It's just stupid that it happened. We moved here, and within the first month of being here, I was booked for a show called Slay. And it was, like spooky horror themed drag show. Great. And at the time, there was one drag queen that ran the entire city of Chicago. I'm sure you've heard about this before. Yeah.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Her name was T Rex.
Oh
And
yes, T
she,
Rex.
right. So she had Drag Matinee, which was uh, at the time the biggest drag show in the country.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like biggest. It was hugely successful. So I'm at Slay doing my little thing, uh, and I'm doing a carry number.
Mhm.
I got the pink dress, I got the crown, I got someone sneaking up behind me with like a bucket of blood, and as the blood is dumped, a couple little like drip drops land on T Rex's sweater, and
Oh.
she was furious about it. And it's like, girl, come on, you knew it was a carry number. You know it's coming. You know there's a blood dump on the head. Like, don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Mm.
But she was so upset that she went around and told every show producer in the city, don't book Sigourney.
Wow.
She was so powerful. She had the ability to make or break people's drag careers.
Yeah. So did you not perform for a long time, like when you first started out because of that?
It was tricky. It was tricky because there were still like some bookings, but there were not a ton. There were not a lot. And primarily because there are so many performers in the city. There's just, there's only so many shows, there's only so many spots. That's just the way it is. And I wasn't satisfied with what I was getting.
Mhm.
And that's how I started touring myself around the
Oh.
country. Ta-da!
Yeah, like that's kind of like how this my podcast like came into inception. Like I wasn't at first I was like kind of a theater kid with a theater degree trying to carve my way
A
in this
theater
like
degree too?
unfortunately.
Ugh. I was smart enough to back out of getting one of those at the last minute and saved myself a mountain of debt.
Yeah. Well, luckily I don't have student debt, so I got that
Well,
like
good
so,
for you. Must be
yeah.
nice.
It is. And I
I don't
like
either.
I don't want to get my master's in anything because I'm like, I already have credit card debt. Like I think debt wise, I'm like all good there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many other things that you could get that would be so much more worthwhile, like going into debt for.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, going to see your shows or going to
Oh,
see drag in Dallas, Miss
yeah.
USA.
Or you could buy like a golden toilet.
Oh man. I mean,
That would be worth going into debt for, maybe.
I think so. I
You
mean,
get a lot of use out of it.
yeah, I mean Donald Trump sure loves it, I guess.
Does
Doesn't
he
he
have a
was it
golden toilet?
I think he was the one that had the golden toilet. Like he had golden stuff. Like as I don't know.
Damn it.
I think so, but I don't know. Rich people. I feel like that's rich people shenanigans, and I like to say
See, and that would be, going into debt.
exactly.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is like I pretty much had to like carve my own niche of like, hey, I'm advertising myself. Like this is what I do. I want to do something like this podcast, for example. It wasn't always about highlighting drag or anything like that. It was really its inception came out during the pandemic, where we were all kind of locked in, and we we essentially were talking about people that we were thankful for as a way to just remember all the people in our lives that meant
Oh.
something to us, or the things that
Hmm.
made that shaped us to who we are. That changed because I really like drag, and I kind of wanted to give drag performers, either popular ones or people, a local drag as well, support local drag. I want to
Yes.
give those people platforms to like really talk about themselves, because like I think you go to a bar, you see Miss Thang twirl a whirl, do a split, like, and she's having a good time, and but you don't really
And
know
I
who she
love it.
is.
I love to see it.
Yeah, but you don't really know who they are, besides the name, and I feel like the show would be a way for more people to be like, this is the
How
person
many
who
have you interviewed? How many drags have you interviewed now at this point?
on this God, I would say at least 8, with some
That's
upcoming
solid.
ones.
That's
Yeah,
solid.
we're
Yep.
getting there.
You're on your way.
Ever since it became a drag focus show, I would say the last 5, I would say. But then like we've also interviewed drag queens before. Some of them repeats, because they're my friends. So I'm like,
Ooh.
you should just come back on and we'll talk some more. Um, but no, I relate to you in that way of like, oh yeah, no one was giving me all these opportunities, so I'm just going to tour myself. Where did you end up going on these tours?
I ended up leaning on my pageant contacts.
Mhm.
So, competing nationally, you meet a lot of people that live in a different state than you do. And a lot of the time, they would be similar to me. They would be going back more than once. So, I would know the other contestants, or, maybe I met one of their backup dancers or their dresser or someone, and I would just pick a city and I would just, hit them up and be like, hey, I'm coming to this town. Who do I talk to get booked? Where do I go? What do I do? And it was like I would pay my own way to get there, and I would hope to maybe make a little bit of money to make it worthwhile, but ultimately the the prize for me was getting to perform, getting to perform for new audiences, getting to travel, and having new experiences, and kind of, rounding myself and my skills.
Oh, that's so cool. No,
But if
like
I was going to Dallas, then it was just to go to Shoe Deal.
what's shoe deal?
The best.
Oh,
It's a store in Dallas. They have multiple locations, but imagine all of the shoes that they sell at like Akira and like Dolls Kill and like Fashion Nova, but they're all wholesale price.
oh,
So they're
okay.
like 10, $20 a pair.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm a shoe queen. I'm a shoe queen. Like, I love to buy a shoe. Love to buy a shoe. Love it.
I love shoes. I think shoes are like people don't talk about shoes that much, you know? Like and I just like a good pair of shoes. I have these Nike ones, like they're LeBrons and they're Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote themed. So one
Very
is
good.
one is
Very
a
good.
one is a brown shoe and one is a blue shoe. And
I love that.
anytime someone looks at them, they're just like amazed that I'm that like did you forget the other shoe? Like they keep asking like did they come like this or did you just like mix and match shoes? I was like this is how they came.
I'm so into that. I'm so into a mix and match.
Yeah, I need to do more of that because like I think that's such a slay of just like yeah
Yeah.
yeah these are the same style shoes but
Yeah.
they're different colors.
Do it.
Hmm.
I think the reason that I got so into shoes was because for the longest time, it was so difficult for me to find like drag that fit my body, but a shoe would always fit. I wouldn't have to worry about is it going to be too tight? Is it going to be too big? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to look good? I know it's going to look good.
No, I get that.
It's dependable.
Yeah. No, but that's so cool. Like on these shows that you did, like this tour, like what were you performing? Like was it just, oh, here I am, I'm lip syncing to like this song and like
All kinds
doing
of
my
stuff. I mean, really anything that interested me, any kind of song that I liked, I would do.
yeah.
It's pretty much the same now. I feel a little bit more like pressure to do more like Dragula style performances and numbers from being on the show, and because sometimes I feel like there are gigs that are expecting that, and that's why they booked me. So that gets a little bit stressful sometimes, especially when it's like I don't want to I don't want to do Evanescence. Maybe I just want to do Kylie Minogue. Is that so bad? Is
No,
that so
it's not.
wrong?
No, absolutely not. You should do
Yeah.
whatever you want. Honestly, like
That's how
I,
I feel too. That's what I tell people whenever they're like, "How do I get into drag? What should I do? Do you have any advice?" I'm like, "Do whatever you like. Do whatever you want. If you like it, do it. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Unless you're being an asshole and you're hurting people, try everything, see what you like and do that."
yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. But I was also curious because you said like a lot of people were expecting like a Dragula show from you. Like, is it like horror stuff, like Evanescence? Like, are they expecting you to be kind of a spooky drag queen?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not that I don't like to do that stuff because I definitely was doing a lot of alternative stuff. That was always the issue, was that I was told I was too alternative for the pageant world and I was too pageant for the alternative scene.
Wow.
Yeah. So I fall right in the middle like a dork, just looking spooky, doing Madonna.
Gosh, that's that's so wild. And I feel like that's such a, you know, like, oh, you're a girl type of thing. Like, oh yeah, like you need to like be a certain way and you need to like just do more.
Duh.
Like, yeah, obviously. So
Right.
that sounds so annoying. Is there like do you have a concept in your head? I mean, like, I don't know if you're gonna do this later on in like live shows or whatever, but like, is there a concept in your head that you haven't done yet that you really want to do? Like a
Yeah, I've
song.
got tons. I've definitely like I've got a whole list of like numbers and looks that I've conceptualized that I'm just like sitting on and just waiting for the right show to like bring it out and like bring it to life.
Yeah,
Because
name
you
one.
don't want to just throw it out anywhere if it's good and if it's also like sometimes there's something like very specific and very niche. And I know that the time will come for them, but I'm just gonna let them sit for now and just marinate.
Anything you want to share specifically? Like,
No, no
no.
way. Top secret. I come on. You know I love a reveal. I
Yes.
love surprises. I love a reveal that doesn't look like a reveal and then you don't see it coming.
Yeah, those are my favorite. So I definitely agree. So I won't press you on those. Maybe we'll see it in the future when you perform live in.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. You mentioned when you moved to Chicago, you said we, and that also brought me to like another topic. I wanted to talk about your spouse, McDouche. Like,
Ta-da!
is that who
The
you were?
douche.
Was that who you were referring to? Like when you said when we moved to Chicago, like did you guys move
Yes.
together? Okay.
Yes. Mick and I moved to Chicago together in 2017.
Oh yeah. Tell me about McDouche. Like who is he? Like who like that's really interesting name.
McDouche is my favorite.
Mhm.
Um, he's super silly and he's super cute. And I'm sure he's super eavesdropping on me right now from another room. He's an extraordinary drag king that's kind of like a fatherly or like uncle type figure to other drag kings over the years. Not so much now. They've chilled out a little bit on daddying, but like in a respectful way, in a nice way. They love to be helpful, and when they were starting out doing drag, there weren't a lot of like king makeup tutorials on YouTube. Like it was really difficult to try to find like resources and information for drag kings or like by drag kings, about drag kings. So that's something like anytime that another king would ask him for help or advice, he'd boom, always there, always give it.
Oh, that's so lovely. I didn't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I was doing research about you. I kind of went into the McDouche rabbit hole for a little bit, and I was like, I feel like there's someone I should bring on the show as well. So I might reach out to Mick.
Do it.
But I do want to ask because I love asking a couple questions. Like, how did you two meet? And like tell us your guys' story because we didn't hear about it too much on Dragula.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to talk about it.
That's fair.
Well, no,
Do-
because it's like I don't want to like bring them into it, and I don't want to make my relationship part of my storyline. You know,
uh,
like I'm there for me. It's going to be about me.
okay, that's understandable.
But we met back in 2016. I was getting ready to go back and compete for Diva nationally. And doing pageants is very, very expensive. It's very expensive. And I was super broke perpetually.
Mhm.
And, you know, doing drag just makes that worse. But trying to get ready for a pageant can be really financially stressful. But a great way to do that is to have fundraisers. And so we were having a benefit show for me to go to Diva, which is like a super common thing in pageant scenes to have benefit shows and have the tips from the show go to the person it's benefiting or the organization that it's benefiting. There was a queen that lived in Iowa City. I lived in Des Moines, and she was coming to perform in the benefit show because in Iowa there's not a ton of gay bars or clubs and stuff to do drag at, especially at that time. So it wasn't uncommon for other performers to drive 2 or 3 hours just to do a show for like $40
Wow.
because those were the options.
Yeah.
She was coming from Iowa City and she said, "Hey, is it okay if I bring this drag king too to perform in the show?" And I said, "Do you think he can make money?" It's a yes. And so that's how I met McDouche. And we were in the dressing room and he was so cute and I was so into it. And I never ever did this before, but something in me just like told me to do it. And I asked them, I was like, "So do you have room for a little beaver in your life?" Boom, got him.
Oh my god.
The rest is history.
Oh, that is great. I wish I could be in like I wish my name had something like an innuendo in it where I could like just use that.
Well,
And
that's the beauty of getting to pick your own name.
yeah, and well, that's the thing. Like, I want to talk about your name, Sigourney Beaver, because
My
um
name's Sigourney Beaver. I'm not Weaver.
oh, I said
I'm Beaver.
yeah. How did you come up
Roll the
with it?
tape. How did I
How
come up with it? I mean, I'm a huge fan of Sigourney Weaver. Also, did you know that her uh, real name is not Sigourney Weaver? She changed her name to Sigourney.
oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, she was not born Sigourney, but she changed her name to Sigourney. And I remember reading about that in like a Time magazine when I was like 12. And I was like, oh, how cool. I love that name. I think it's so neat. It's so unique and different. And when it came time to choose a name, I wanted something that was going to be unique and different. You know, I didn't want to be like a Jessica or like something basic or there's like a billion of them. You know, I didn't want to be another barbed wire or what's the other one? Cherry Poppins. There seems
Oh
to
yeah.
be like a dozen Cherry Poppins out there.
Mhm.
But Sigourney was just so delicious and different. And beaver is also slang for vagina. Hello.
Mhm. No, I get it.
Hilarious.
No,
And I love
it's
animals. Yeah.
no, that's great. I love it. I mean, it's a very easy name to explain because I was talking to my mom about interviewing you, and like she got it right away. Like even though she's
There's
never seen.
some people that don't. And they come
Really?
up to me and they're like, I thought you were named after this. Oh, there's a Sigourney, Iowa, and I had someone one time. They were like, "Oh, I thought you were like Sigourney, Iowa," or they're like, "I've never heard of Sigourney Weaver." What?
They haven't heard of. They've not seen Aliens or Ghostbusters or anything like that. That's
Or
crazy.
Holes?
Yeah, was she in Holes?
Or Galaxy Quest?
Okay, Galaxy Quest is so good.
Or Cabin in the Woods?
Was she in that?
Huh? At the
Oh,
end.
okay. I haven't seen that movie, so I'll
It's
take your word
good.
for it.
It's
Was it
good.
the remake or the OG one?
Now I'm worried that I've got it wrong. Oh my God.
I could not tell you. I mean, I'm sure somebody will like correct you if you're wrong, but I would never do that.
She's really good.
Yes, yes. Uh, the other thing I wanted to talk about specifically with you and McDouche is you guys also had, uh, well, two episodes of it, but you guys did Gorgeous with Beaver, and
Yes.
yeah, I was listening to some of the episodes in that. You guys really have good chemistry together. I mean, you and
Thank
there was the
you.
one with like Hoso on it, and then with like the
Uh-huh.
research by Harley Golightly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was so much fun to listen to. Where are the other episodes?
Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
I'm not sure. I think they're gonna be coming, but I mean, podcasts aren't my passion,
that's fair.
really. And it was just something fun to try. There might be more. They might take a while. They might not. We might have a bunch come out over the summer.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. What is the show for those who don't know?
It is a podcast where we talk about um spooky, unusual, occult, like dark, cryptid kind of things, you know.
Mm.
Oh, playing the hits.
Yeah, I really liked it because it seemed like you guys with Harley like giving you like doing the research beforehand, like it was very educational, like which I did not expect out of because
Thank you.
I listen to a lot of like drag queen podcasts, and a lot of them just want to talk about sex and stuff like that, which
Oh,
there's space for that. Like I enjoy
yeah.
it, but like I think this is like the first drag queen podcast where I was like, huh, I feel like I learned something, or it was very educational.
Or you should check out Disasterina's podcast,
Okay. What is
Tasty Ear Bits.
Oh, interesting. I'll have
I
to.
highly recommend.
You know what? Like, if it's a drag queen or a drag king or a drag thing, like,
And
just
if it's
top.
Disasterina,
Oh,
Sign
for
me up. Sign me up.
exactly. No,
I'm in.
I love that. I'll have to check it out for sure. The other thing I wanted to talk about is Dragula, actually, because as you stated and corrected me, it's been 3 years since your season.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
like I'm mostly just curious about what made you want to apply to that show, because at that time there wasn't any AFAB drag queens on the show. You were the first one.
At least not any that were doing the same type of drag that I do.
Hmm. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
what made you want to apply to this show? Like, how did you hear about it initially?
Well, I had been a fan. I had been a fan since season one. And a big part of it, a big driving force was that I like to compete. I like to compete, like not in like a shitty way where I'm going and trying to like showgirls someone, like just in, just I just think it's fun. And there are not a lot of competition opportunities open to me because I am AFAB. You know what I mean? There's a lot of options for any like cis male drag queen that wants to go out and compete in a pageant. There's a billion. There's so many. But for me, there was only Diva, US of A, and then there was EOY Femme, which does not exist anymore. And that's it.
Wow. Mhm.
And I'd already done Diva 3 years in a row, given 3 years of my life and who knows how many thousands of dollars. And, at that point, after the third time, things weren't gonna change. And I wasn't going to change to appease them. I didn't want to do that.
Mhm.
And with Dragula, it's an open playing field. It's not split up by what you got hiding in your pants.
Mhm.
That's what it was. I wanted to compete
Yeah. I mean,
because, and even then, that puts me at three options.
yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like the season before yours, like season two. No, sorry, season three, where Landon Sider won. Like he was the
Mm-hmm.
first drag king to ever win a reality competition show, I think.
Yep.
So it was like, I think doubly so. In
And
terms
to
of like,
be on one.
and to be on one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like that must have like incentivized you even more to be like, this, I could do this. I'm assuming like this
I
is.
mean, like I said, I loved the show. I was a huge fan. And like, Mick and I had both been like big fans of Landon because Landon was big before the show. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything, they needed him. But it was just so exciting and incredible. And as soon as the cast was announced, I was like, crown it, it's Landon, period. He's amazing.
Mhm. How did you apply like for every season pretty much, or like,
No,
oh,
no,
so one.
just for season 4.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
um
Got it right
what
the first time. That never happens.
no, that's so cool. I mean, like you're effortlessly amazing. So like if they didn't pick you the first time, like I would be like, what? I mean, like I didn't know who you were at the time. So like knowing you now, I'm just like amazed about everything you do. So like you absolutely deserved it.
Thank you. Everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. Once the show ended and like kind of the smoke cleared from Dracula, like what was like how did working as a drag queen like change after that? Like especially since it was much more.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Well, this was also on the tail end of COVID. So as things were starting to open up, because when I left for filming, Chicago was still shut down. And when I got back, it was open. But everything was very different from that. And then also, I went from having to message people to get bookings, and now people are reaching out to me for bookings. But my favorite part, the biggest change, and my very, very, very favorite part is getting to do meet and greets. I
Oh
love
wow.
meet and greets. They're my favorite part of the whole gig because it's
That's
so fun. It's so fun to get to like talk to all these people and they're all excited to see me. And it's just really cool to get to like, hear their different stories or get gifts. Gifts are my favorite. I also love little gifts. I've gotten like a lot of really good fan art over the last couple years, and I make sure to like I hang it all up in my drag room.
oh that's
It's my
cute.
favorite. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I like I feel like that a lot of drag queens, at least from like interviews and what I heard, like the meet and greets are like the craziest part, like probably the part that they don't like that
Uh,
much, but
yeah, I know a lot of people, a lot of performers don't like the meet and greets and they find them kind of like annoying, but I love it. I love it, and I love getting to see and interact with fans, with my fans, because I wouldn't be able to do any of this without them.
do you have a specific meet and greet moment that like has stayed with you?
There've been a couple. There've been a couple. Um, I think my favorite one, I was just telling someone else about this the other day. It's so funny. My favorite one was in, I think I was somewhere in upstate New York, and there was this girl who was so excited and nervous to meet me that she vomited
Oh
in
geez.
front of me. It was amazing. It was amazing. Like
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
That was definitely that made an imprint.
Oh, it probably made an imprint on her. She probably like I'm just picturing like if that was me, I would have been like, she probably thinks I'm so weird. She probably thinks I'm like,
I
like
mean,
crazy.
I don't know. It's just incredible getting to see all these people and to, after so many years of getting told no or that I can't do this or what I do isn't good because of who I am, and not being able to have opportunities because of who I am, to now getting to meet all of these people who come up and show all of their love to me because of who I am. It's amazing.
Yeah. That
It's
must be
incredible.
it must be very like cathartic
It's
too.
so dramatic. It's literally it's such a dramatic like origin story that I
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I meant like cathartic because like you know, like you said, like you weren't getting all these opportunities and it just probably
Because I
felt
was
like
AFAB. Like that
exactly.
was that was the reason.
And now
Because it wasn't anything else. It wasn't that I didn't look good. I mean, I look a lot better now than I did, but like, hello, that's the drag journey. And, it wasn't because I couldn't perform, because I could, and I had to work twice as hard as other Arnold.
oh, look at that.
I had to work twice as hard as other drag queens to get the same kinds of opportunities, but I was getting rejected from so many things solely based on me being AFAB.
Yeah. And now the world loves you.
I
Which
think
is
so.
yeah. I
Yeah.
at
So far,
least
so good.
at least I do. I do love you. So
You.
at least one person that at least loves you. So
Yes.
um I kind of want to go off track here because I do have a picture that I wanted to share with you.
Picture. Oh
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
Is it of me?
Yes, it is. Well, it's a couple of
No.
people, but like we talked about this like earlier, like during the what do you call it? What do we call it? Oh, the pre-show. Let me see if I can like add it. Come on. There we go. If you want to look at your chat, it's in there.
Do I?
Yeah. So many, many, many years ago, you were part of this little performance of a very niche Broadway musical called The Rocky Horror Show, put up by Cataclysmic. And this is you. At least I think it
Oh
is.
my
You
god.
look dramatically like not like you look so young in
I
that.
mean, I was really young. I'm trying to remember. Did you find a year on that?
I think it was 2015.
Woof. So that
Yeah.
was yep, that was when I was having to do burlesque and I couldn't really do drag yet.
Yeah, I was the reason
Yeah.
why I brought it up was because like I was just kind of curious because this specific show, it's not the lip sync show like where you watch the movie in the back and you have lip sync performers. This looks like the actual musical. Like, and my question
Yeah,
for
this
you,
was the stage production of Rocky Horror.
yeah, the question I had for you was, are you a singer? Like, do you
I
sing?
used to be. I used to be. I'm not anymore,
Yeah,
but I used to.
tell me about that because I think that's really interesting. Like, like when did you stop singing?
Um, Pretty much after that, like as soon as I started doing drag, I started, pouring all of my creative energy and time and focus into that. But also, another reason that I was kind of found my way to drag was that I love performing. I love performing, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. But as I started my body modification process, as I started getting visibly tattooed, that became not so much an option in the traditional sense anymore. Because you can't be like heavily tattooed and be in cast at the community theater playhouse. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I had a choice. I could either pick the body that I wanted and look and be and feel the way that I wanted to, or I could maybe be a performer. And I chose happiness instead. But I still wanted to perform, so I had to find an alternate route to do that, and drag is perfect. I could have both.
Yeah, you can definitely sing in drag. I would love that. I think you
Oh
should
my
sing again.
god, not in a corset.
I think
No
I think you
way.
could do it. Like
No.
what was it? Safira Cristal does opera, you know.
Good for her. It
Yeah.
couldn't be me.
Yeah,
That's yeah, it's just not where my heart is anymore,
that's understandable.
really. Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's really hard, and it's something that is makes you so vulnerable.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's one thing to be an artist and to show your art to the world, but when it's something that physically comes from inside you, it can be really difficult to uh you know have control over it in the way that you want to, but also accept criticism for it. Like that's hard. That's hard for me.
Mhm. Yeah, because I can imagine also like that's your drag too. Like does your a lot of your drag come from
I
inside?
mean, for drag, it's different because, like
Mhm.
I said, I did a lot of pageants. I did a national pageants and all kinds. So that was kind of my secret superpower going into Dragula, that I had competition experience and I knew what it felt like to stand on stage and get told your drag sucks because
Mhm.
I've done that lots of times. So I was really prepared for it. And luckily, I didn't have to do that. Not
Yeah.
really, not too much. There was one day, 2 days, but it was fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a couple of exterminations, but you came out on top.
Some of those were not my fault. Some of those
Exactly.
were not my fault.
Mhm. Yeah. In my brain, you won everything and you won Dracula, even though Dolly was amazing. But in my brain, in my delusion, you won. I love
I
Dolly
feel
though.
like a winner.
You
That's what I
are.
always tell people. I feel like a winner. I got the prize that I wanted, you
Mhm.
know. I got to go and showcase my drag to the best of my abilities. I got to wear everything I brought.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's
And
right.
I also I got to do the world tour out of it. And I get to meet all of these people and do all of these meet and greets and have all of these opportunities and travel and stuff like that. The win doesn't always come with a crown,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, especially like given your background and everything, like you literally had to carve everything like from the get-go, and now everyone wants a piece of Sigourney. Everyone wants a piece of Beaver, you know. They got Beaver fever.
Well, there's enough to go around.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
I have two more like topical questions to go through, then we'll get to lightning rounds. But you know, you've been doing drag for about you said 7 years now?
8.
8. Okay. Yeah. See, this time I made you a little bit younger than you are instead of older. So
It's all about balance.
exactly.
Mhm.
So 8 years. What has been one of your favorite performances you've ever done? Like off the top of your head, like what is a moment on stage that you'll never forget?
I
Whether it was
think,
before Dragula or after Dragula.
well, I'll pick post Dragula
Here we go.
because that's been more recent than pre-Dracula. And there's a lot of things that happen in my life, and I'm not an elephant. I don't have an incredible memory. It's good enough. I can do numbers, but as far as like days, I'm not so great. I think maybe getting to do Dragathon in Boston on Halloween.
Oh.
That was the first like big show I had done with Dragula. And it's so funny because the Boulets booked me to do Halloween Ball with them the night before in LA.
Oh
So
yeah.
I went and did Halloween Ball, and then we all had to leave at 2, even though Halloween Ball goes to like 4 or 5. We all had to leave at 2 to get back and get out of drag and get ready and go to the airport at 4 to fly out of LA to Boston at like 5:30 to
Wow.
get there in time to do Dragathon. And when we landed and we got to baggage claim, they had lost all of our luggage,
Oh.
everything. We didn't have anything. All I had, like, I always make my makeup my carry on because I'm always worried that, I'm gonna look out the window and see like a baggage guy just like drop kick it and just,
Yeah.
see my Reiki mirror like fly out and shatter. So I always make sure that I have my makeup as my carry-on. That's all I had. I didn't have anything else. And like the Boulets didn't have anything, and like Saint didn't have anything, and Katya didn't have anything. And it took them 3 hours to find our luggage. And then we still had to make it from the airport to the hotel, where luckily that's also where the event was.
Mhm.
Thank God. So it was pretty much as easy as running to the room and just painting as fast as possible. Because at that point in time, I think we got there at like 6 ish, and the show started at 7, and the Boulets were hosting.
Wow.
So it was very tight. It was definitely like I had never experienced anything like it. I had never done like 2 big gigs back to back like that, and going like cross country too, and then doing this show for this massive audience. Huge. And it went over really well. I didn't fall off stage. So, and my wig stayed on, so I call that a success.
Yeah. Especially since you were able to get all your luggage. Like what would have happened if you didn't have your luggage?
Well, we talked about that, and Drac was like, "Well, I guess maybe we're gonna go to the Halloween store and get some of those, vampire and witch makeup kits and just try to make it work out of that."
Oh, that's crazy.
Which would be a very fun mini challenge on Dragula, and I will keep my fingers crossed that that will happen someday.
Yeah. The Boulets just come in jeans and a t-shirt on stage.
That'll be the scariest part.
Yeah. They're just like
Don't
normal
forget the
people.
Crocs.
Yep. Oh, yeah, the
Yep,
Crocs. Yep,
don't forget the
exactly.
Crocs.
Do they wear did they wear Crocs like during the show? Like as just kind of like or you're not
Are
supposed to
you
say?
asking? like trying to draw a parallel to the RuPaul wearing Uggs under the table.
You know, I wasn't thinking about that, but now that you brought it up, I mean, hey, I would do the exact same thing. Like if I
No,
was
they are full-fledged full-time.
love that. I love
Mm-hmm.
them. I saw last year I was at DragCon and like I still wasn't into Dragula yet. Like I was still kind of carving my way into like the other stuff, which was
Mm-hmm.
Dragula and stuff like that. But I knew about the Boulet brothers, and that was at the time where I thought, oh, they're siblings, right? And then like my friend had to correct me. But I saw them just walking down the aisles and like all the booths and stuff. I don't
At
know what
DragCon last year?
I think they were there.
They were on tour. I
Oh,
was there. They weren't
oh,
there. Yeah. They were doing
yeah. Oh,
the
yeah. They
Titans
were.
tour.
Okay. Who did I
Mm-hmm.
saw there? I thought I saw them. That's interesting. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Vander and Bitch were there.
yeah, Vander and Bitch. I know you were there too, because I was like, oh, Sigourney Beaver. That sounds like an interesting name.
Ta-da! I was sneaky and I got a booth in the like vendor section because
Yeah.
it's cheaper.
Yeah. Well, like I realized like all the non RuPaul drag queens, like they're pretty much like whenever they advertise like the vendors on the DragCon social media
Mm-hmm.
accounts, like they'll throw in a drag queen there. It's like this drag queen's coming, you know, she's just chilling. She's not selling, I don't like she's probably selling some t-shirts or whatever, but like they kind of make they really don't highlight the other drag queens. I feel like it was just kind of like, oh, that there's some other drag queens here, but you want to come for the RuPaul girls.
I mean, it is RuPaul's Drag Con. I get
Fair.
it.
That's
I get
fair.
it. And I'm pretty sure it's in their contract for their season
Mhm,
that they have to attend Drag Con the
mhm.
same year as their season airing.
Exactly. No,
I'm
you're
pretty
right.
sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that was a really interesting story and learning about like that crazy stuff. But I do have one more topic that I want to say before we get in the lightning round.
Mm-hmm.
Between being an AFAB drag performer, trying to carve a space for yourself in a cis male environment, your time on Dragula, happening during one of the most difficult periods of your life, and all the craziness that kind
Mm-hmm.
of instilled with some other competitors. We won't get into that. You could watch the show, Tamar. You're still out on top, and to be honest, you're really one of the better drag queens out there, in my
Thank
opinion.
you. Thank you.
Um,
I'm doing my best.
the question I had for you is like, where do you find the strength to keep pushing yourself as an artist? Like,
Um, I don't know. It's not always there,
mm,
you know? It's not always easy, but I guess it's just it comes back to I have to remind myself and get in touch with why I started doing this and why I love it.
mm,
And that usually helps.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Do you?
That and like getting like a really good wig. If I go and pick up a really good wig, I'll get really excited and all of a sudden I feel very inspired and energetic about a number.
That's interesting. Well,
Mhm.
when you're putting on drag, like, what do you think of first? Like, do you think of the wig? Do you think of the corset, the shoes? Like, what's the first thing that you start off with?
As far as like getting
Like,
dressed that
yeah,
day
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah. Getting dressed, like, or when you're coming up with a concept, perhaps like for
oh,
an outfit.
that's like that's kind of all over the place and depends. Sometimes it's like an emotion that I want to invoke on an audience. And sometimes it's a song that I really want to do that I've heard. And I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta figure out how to like bring this to the stage. Or sometimes it's a look that I wanna do that I'm really into. And I'm like, I know this is gonna kill. I can't wait to wear it. I gotta find the song and like the right show to do this.
Oh,
But as
that's
far as like getting dressed, like day of, it's usually that I try to have a hair color and eyeshadow color that are complementary.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think of.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And usually how much time I have. I'm always running late. I have terrible time management.
Well, you were on time for this, so kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a
Yeah.
miracle. I'm trying really hard to get better. My partner pushes me to do that all the time.
Yeah. Going back to your answer about when I asked you like what pushes you and stuff like that, I think that's really important to remember, like why you, why you're kind of into it and like why you're kind of getting into it in the first place. I always feel like I forget that, but I know there have been opportunities for me, especially like right now, like not to like praise you as much as I have already, but like getting the opportunity to talk to you and like you trusting me to like ask you questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, don't fuck me over now. Don't let me down.
No, I would not. Like I literally like I get so like sweating on the forehead. I'm like, oh my God, are my questions good enough? Like, is she gonna think I'm crazy? Am I gonna like hit a nerve? Like I always get stressed.
Definitely not the weirdest interview I've had.
Oh yeah, the Dragula.
Oh my
Or-
God.
yeah,
Literally, I was like, what kind of gay intern brought me here and didn't prep any of you about this at all?
yeah. Well, the thing is, hopefully next time, like whether it's you're manifesting this right now, if you're on Titans 2, there's a talent show component to it because
Oh God, why? Why though? Because that's just gonna bring it, closer and closer to Drag Race. That's,
exactly.
the Dragula's fan base, so in love with it because of what makes it different.
Hmm. Exactly.
So trying to turn it more and more into Drag Race, it's just not gonna be good long term.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it would make that one anchor happy because he was wondering about it. Like, do you guys do a talent show? Like, that's what I think that was one of his questions. Like, do you guys do a talent show during
I
when
was
it's just coming
just
out?
thrilled by how good my tits looked when I saw it.
Yeah,
So good.
and
And
the
for
fact
that early in the morning, too,
that's what I was gonna
a
say.
miracle.
Hmm.
Hmm.
The fact that you looked well composed that early in the morning, like that is insane.
It was a miracle because it was cold. It was so cold outside that morning. And we had to get there at like what? Like 5 or 6 a.m. So I had been up since 3, like painting and trying to get ready. And of course, I was running late. And the minute that we walked into the building, they already, I didn't even know, but they were steering me right to the stage, and like someone mic'd me and they're like, "You're on." And I was boom, just right into it. And it was just in and out. It was over very quickly, just kind of flashed before my eyes. And it's one of those where I kind of blacked out a little. I hope it was good, but I can't remember.
You know what? I can relate to that because I was also interviewed on our local TV channel where they mic'd me up and they were like, "And we're back." And I was like, you can literally see this the
The
terror
like
in my
shock and surprise.
yeah, the shock and surprise in my eye. I was like, "Whoa, wait. There was no countdown. There was no."
Oh, there's no warm up, there's no warning. It's just right into it.
Mhm.
Stop it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. My cat is a rascal.
Oh, that's fine. This isn't the first cat bomb of this channel. So, oh, you got another one. You got two
Yep.
kitties.
Yep. This is Blueberry.
Oh, I
She
love
is a
that.
nightmare. I love her.
Yeah,
She's a demon.
that's how I feel about my dogs. I love them, but I hate them sometimes. But what I was saying is like getting like a chance to interview you and like someone I admire, like it really reinvigorates like why I like to do what I like to do. It's just like, oh, there's someone I look up to that trusts me, and respects what I do. So let's just keep going and see what happens with this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's just too easy to get caught up in, you know, um,
She wanted out.
having to live up to expectations or all of these other things that come with it that can kind of overshadow your vision and your aspirations and ultimately um, your passion. It's just it, you know, especially if it's something that's like you depend on it financially.
Mhm.
There's a lot of performers that are like, I would like to do what I want to do, but I have to do what I know is going to make me money, which is something like what I know that people are going to tip me for.
Mhm.
That that can make it very hard. Or if it's something where there's just a lot expected of you, like if you live and work somewhere where you are slated to do 3 shows, like 3 nights a week, 2 shows per night, 2 numbers per show, so 4 numbers per night, 3 nights in a row every week, and that they all have to be different. You cannot repeat numbers and you cannot repeat outfits. That's hard.
Mhm.
That's really hard to do. And that's something that I think, for me at least, that would kind of you know, blur my vision on what my vision is ultimately as an artist because of those expectations
Mhm.
and that demand to perform.
Yeah. And for me, it's like demand within myself because like I always feel like I have to one up myself. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we got Sigourney Beaver on the show. Who are we gonna
It's
get next?
always, I'm not competing with anyone else. I'm competing with myself.
Ugh, and he's a bitch. God damn it. Like can he shut up and like just let me have fun and like doing this show? You know what I
I'm
mean?
having fun so far, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
Oh,
It's
good.
it's just that sometimes I could be super critical of myself and yeah,
Oh,
I just relate to
same,
yeah,
same,
relate
same.
to it. I feel everything that you're feeling and I feel like you're feeling me, but I don't know.
And I feel a lot
Yes.
all the time. I have a
Yeah.
chemical imbalance. I can't help it.
Yeah. Mine's called depression. Oh man. Anyway,
I know her too.
ugh, a bitch also. Anyway, Sigourney, we are in the lightning round segment of the show. It's
Yes.
the end of the show. You're very
Okay.
excited about
I'm ready.
this.
I'm ready.
It's a series of 5 questions that I ask us each and every week. They're fun. They're not so quick because we'll talk about them forever. Sigourney, are you ready?
Oh, I thought these were quick. Like I had to
You
like quick answer them.
you could, but then like I'm probably gonna ask like a sub question, like, oh wow, you said that. That was really interesting, type of thing. It's not really the lightning round. It's like more questions. We've been
You
doing this
gotta
for
find a
3.
different name for it.
You know, like let's let the audience pick what it what it's called. Once I get more viewers on the show, then then I'll change it. But you can go fast if you want. Are you ready?
I had planned to, yes.
Question number 1. Describe a perfect day.
What is it? Like April 27th? No. I love Miss Congeniality. How many times have you gotten that answer? Um,
I think like
I think
twice.
a perfect day would be not running late anywhere. um, you know, maybe one of my cats decides that they want to cuddle me for once. That would be perfect. I would love that for that to happen. Uh, maybe that I wake up not tired. Mm,
Oh, that would
that
be
could be
nice.
good. That could be a good day.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Do
don't
you
know.
think
What's your perfect day? What how do you answer that question?
I just like to relax, you know. I think a lot of people who've come on the show are gonna say the same thing that I'm gonna say, but like I just want a day where it's just chill and I can like basically do whatever I want. I go downtown to like our local sushi place and get some sushi, get some ice cream, like from Ben and Jerry's or whatever the local. I usually try to buy local, but if I have to buy a franchise, like I like Ben and Jerry's more. Um, and then I would love an opportunity to see some really good drag. Like the show, like on my perfect day, I'm seeing one of the best drag performers. I don't know who it is, but like maybe they are someone I like,
You'll
and
know it when you see it.
exactly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I recall seeing Kennedy Davenport perform a couple weeks
Incredible.
ago. Oh,
Amazing.
oh my God.
A professional.
That that was the first time I ever seen her perform live, and I really underestimated her. Like, because I
She's
my only
amazing.
my only context of her was on TV. So like seeing her
And
perform,
she was great there too.
she was great there too. But like,
Yeah.
I think when I saw her perform live, I was like, this is this is probably the best thing I've ever seen. You know, she did like this ballad. I forget what the song was called, but like it was like 10 minutes long. She had like four different reveals, like three different wig
We
reveals, and
love that. We love that. We
it
love that.
it was drag. And I was like, I need to see this every day.
The last time that I competed in Diva, the queen next to me, uh, she had Kennedy as her dresser for the
Oh,
pageant. So
okay.
Kennedy was right next to us getting her ready the whole time. And me and my dresser, because this was when I think it was like the All Star season that she was on.
Mhm.
Um, it was like we kept trying so hard to not say, "Well, fuck my drag," because everyone was saying it, and like it was just so funny. And I was like, we can't just say that a billion times in front of her. We're gonna look like dorks.
Mhm.
And then
I,
that girl ended up winning.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would say like after a long night of hooking, Trey didn't like the session. I would have like I,
She's so funny. And
yeah,
she's so good. She's such a good performer.
it was so good. So yeah, that would be my perfect day. I would see some really good drag, have sushi, and just relax. A perfect day would be I don't go to work, like an actual job.
Yes. Yes.
Um, the second question I have for you, this might be a little bit difficult, but what's a song that describes your life right now?
Oh my God. Uh, oh, damn it. My cat. Sorry. Um, I don't know. I don't know a song that would describe my life right now. Uh, if I were being optimistic and giving a Page answer, I would say Edge of Glory or something like that. But it's probably more like I don't know. Old MacDonald had a farm. It's
is it
my aspiration to one day have a farm just
is it
full of animals, as many as I can have, as many as I can get.
is it the Aretha Franklin one where it's like kind of like a jazzy scat? Like it was on All Stars, the All Winners one.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it should be. I think that would be very on brand.
No, I could see that. That's a fun question I like to ask. We used to do a playlist of all the people's answers, but because like I edit the show, I do the marketing and I promote and like I host and edit and blah blah blah. And I'm like, do I really need to do like this other thing? Maybe I
Why
will.
not?
Maybe I
Why
will
not?
because
Yeah,
I'm just a little lazy. You know, I'm very lazy. But maybe that'll change. I don't know. I'll put Aretha Franklin's Old McDonald on there for you, and then post
perfect.
it. Um,
Perfect.
question number three, probably another difficult one, and this one I'm gonna like because I did it for Erica Clash as well. But
Love her.
I'm gonna
Twirling and swirling.
yep, I love Erica. That was a really good episode. What's your third favorite horror movie?
Oh, my third favorite,
Mm-hmm.
Final Destination 2.
Oh,
The logs, the
oh,
car.
oh man,
Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
I remember that as a kid, and like I remember the
Everyone
log.
remembers it. Everyone was traumatized by that scene. Everyone is scared whenever they see one of those logging trucks on the highway. And you live in Washington, so I'm sure you see it more often than not.
Surprisingly, no. I don't see a
Really?
lot of like those log transport things. Like I haven't seen too much of them. At least not that I don't drive even. So I'm like, that
Well,
helps.
that adds up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, being gay and I also don't drive and I'm not good at math. You know, I'm very stereotypical in that regard. But no, that's a good answer. The reason why I brought up the kid thing is like I remember that log scene, but I never watched that movie because I hated scary movies as a kid. I if my mom was watching a scary movie like Scream or whatever, I would like I had to cover my ears so I didn't have to like listen to it because like I would then imagine things in my brain. I later found out that was OCD, is like overthinking and like putting scenarios in your head.
Oh,
But like I had to cover my ears so I didn't have to like even think about what was going on.
I mean, whatever works, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's a good
Mhm.
answer. Question number 4. What's your favorite ice cream topping or frozen yogurt if you prefer?
Ooh, so if I'm getting froyo, my favorite topping is the little cheesecake bites and
Oh.
fruit and cheesecake bites because uh I like to get a fruity froyo.
Mhm.
But if it's an ice cream, probably just more ice cream.
Okay. So like a double
Yeah.
scoop, like 2 scoops.
Yeah.
What 2
Twice
scoops
as fun.
are you getting the same kind of ice cream with your 2 scoops or is it just
I like to do the same ones because I'm a really, really picky eater. And I like I like consistency as far as like the few foods that I do eat. I know I like them and they're dependable.
Mhm.
I'm just really boring.
Oh
I'm a
no.
really boring eater.
Oh, that's well, the things that you do eat in are really unique and different, but as far as food, it sounds like you
I
just eat
like
like a
them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like thinking of it like wine tasting. You know, what is this gonna pair with? Like, whenever I'm picking like
Hmm.
2 ice creams, like chocolate and vanilla, right? Or cookies
Well,
and
yeah, because you don't want to do two that aren't going to make any sense together.
mhm. Ben and
Yeah.
Jerry's has milk and cookies ice cream that I like a lot. Uh,
Ooh.
I will do milk and cookies and their cookies and cream. You know,
That's
so
just like
kind of the same
twice the
thing.
cookies. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing.
Kind of the same thing, but different because they're different cookies.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
that's
my favorite ice cream right now is from Jenny's, and
okay.
it's the Texas sheet cake. It's like a vegan like chocolate ice cream with like cake pieces in it. It's so good.
Oh,
It's
that's
so good.
that's so cool. That reminds me because you're in Chicago, you have Portillo's, and Portillo's does like a milkshake, a chocolate cake milkshake, where they'll blend like actual chocolate cake into the milkshake, and you'll get little like
That
chocolate cake in
sounds
there.
good. I've never been there. Because I don't eat meat, so there's like nothing for me to eat at the hot dog restaurant,
Mhm.
so I don't go there.
They probably have a vegan one. Usually nowadays, most places do.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah.
I don't
I,
know. I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, the final question is chocolate related. So get
Oh,
ready for
good.
it. Um, you have to pick one. If you had to pick one, which would you choose? The right Twix
Dark.
or the right Twix or the right Twix or the left Twix is what I was gonna say. I love dark.
Both.
Okay,
Both. Yeah. Everyone wants to eat them individually. No, just take them both at the same time.
really? Like, so you also eat Kit Kats that way too, or do you break them apart?
Yes. Yes, I do.
See, that's
Yeah.
that's like a that's like a an extermination challenge right there. Like that's like kind of you know ungodly or
I wouldn't lose.
horror.
Wouldn't lose.
Yeah. I mean, like the reason
Mhm.
why I like say that is because like Twix had like this whole brand campaign of like the left side's better, the right side's better.
Oh,
So I
I
was like,
remember.
yeah.
I used to watch TV a lot when I was young.
hmm So
Yeah.
I don't know if I think they still do it, but I don't know. It's really funny. I had a friend on here who really hated that question. Like she was like
Why?
angry. I don't know. It was like this is just a fun question. Like
Yeah.
um but no,
What
I
was she
laughed.
expecting? How do you solve world peace?
Yeah. I mean, you probably have
Yeah,
an answer for that because of your pageant background.
a Twix.
A Twix or a Snickers because you're not you and you're hungry. Sponsor.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Just give someone a Snickers and they're just all better.
Ta-da!
um, Before we go, did you have questions for me? Because like we talked about it and like, you know, we joked about it a little bit, but like I don't know if like did you want to ask me a question on my own show? on your own episode.
Did you enjoy this interview?
Oh my God. This is honestly like, again, I'm probably super biased because I do enjoy you, but this is probably the best interview I've ever had.
Yay!
Mhm. How did you like it?
It was fantastic.
Hmm.
It was
What
great. I had
was,
fun and I'm very comfortable. And I think my cat tried to eat my wig at one point, but
oh my God.
I'd say this was a win.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you'll get to join them pretty soon here because we're pretty much done. Um, I will say, like, I do have one more question. Is this interview better than your Chicago one that you did, the local news one?
And the WGN one?
Yes.
Well, it's definitely longer.
Yes.
And you also know who I am and are familiar with the show.
Hmm.
So that's an automatic yes.
Okay. And I know drag too.
Yeah,
there, we,
a bonus,
there we go. Okay. Well, I feel better now because I was like joking in my
as
head,
you
like,
should.
I was like joking in my head, like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be better than those guys. But like, what if I'm not? What happens then?
I was just happy that my tits looked as good as they did.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
not just your tits, but like everything about you looked good, honestly. Like you that was probably the biggest, like probably the best looking person that they've ever had on that show. Like as far as like
I mean, I hope so. I got up at 3 a.m. to get into drag, which
mhm,
is the earliest that I've ever done it.
mhm. That's probably the earliest that anyone's ever done it.
So at least it was worth it.
Exactly. Sigourney, we're at the end of the show. Where can people find you? And real quick, you're gonna be if in Washington in a couple
Yes.
weeks. Yeah, talk about
Yes.
that.
Yes. I'm going to be in Seattle for Pride. Yay! That's the last weekend of June and it's a 3-day long event. And the first night is bitch pudding and then meatball and then me. I'm on the third night.
Mhm.
Yay! It's
Yeah.
going to be great.
And
I
it's
love
gonna
Seattle.
and
I'm
it's gonna be
hoping to uh go into what are the like tunnels underneath the city.
ooh. Okay,
You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm
know
talking?
what yeah, the
Yeah,
troll tunnels.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah, yeah. That's I'm hoping to do that. I want to see that when I'm there.
mhm. And you're gonna perform at Unicorn, the Unicorn Bar or Unicorn Narwhal. I think that's like
Yes.
kind of what it's called. Have you been there before?
No.
You are, I think you're gonna love it. Um,
Maybe I have been there.
it's a carnival. Like it's literally a carnival themed bar. They have an art.
No, I have not been there.
Yeah,
That sounds great.
there's an arcade at the bottom. They do drag shows like every day there. Like it's a really
Is
cool
there
place.
a dunk tank?
No.
Are
But
there
you could
rides?
no.
I
uh
know that if there's a drag show, it's going to be full of clowns.
exactly. I mean,
Hmm.
Meatball's gonna be there. So I'm
I'm
gonna
excited. It's going to be fun.
and I'm gonna be there. So hopefully
Yay!
we can like run into each other if you're not busy.
Hopefully, I'm not too sweaty.
Yeah, I don't care. I'll probably be very sweaty
It is drag in the summer.
and drunk too. So yeah, you're gonna be in Seattle for Unicorn. That's gonna be your specific day is June 30th, but it's going on from the 28th to the 30th at
Yes.
Unicorn in Seattle. Um, what else you got going on and where can people find you?
Um, I'm gonna be in Delaware this weekend doing Pride there. And then the weekend after that, I'm gonna be in Los Angeles doing a show with one of my very good friends, Maureen San Diego. And then I'm gonna be spending those 2 weeks prepping for Seattle because I want to bring something really good and big for it.
Uh,
So if you're not in any of those places, you can find me on the internet. I have an Instagram, it's sigourney.beaver, and my Twitter has been banned. I never post on TikTok, but I have a website that needs to be updated, sigourneybeaver.com.
Lovely. You don't need to go back on Twitter. You could just stay on Instagram. Twitter's just a mess.
Yeah, it's just it was just like a good like place to advertise shows and like connect with people and I wouldn't have to worry about getting reported or getting my account taken down
Mhm.
um, for being suspected as nude.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
understandable. All
Yeah.
right. Well, awesome. All
Yeah.
the links for that will be in the description below. And for the Seattle thing, because this is a Washington based podcast, there will be a link to
Yay!
buy tickets to Unicorns thing. So look out for that. Um,
Yay!
Wayward Artist, thank you so much for joining on this show. And if there's anyone
Thank you
that
for
you
having me.
thank you for being like legit, like this has been so much fun. Um,
Yay! I'm so glad.
yeah. Um, and if you're listening or watching right now on YouTube or on my social medias, which you can also find in the description below, like let me know if there's anyone out there that you'd like to have on the show, either if they're on Drag Race, if they're on Dragula, Camp Wanakiki, or if they're the local girl that you think is
Camp
bomb.
Wanakiki.
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
Camp
bring
Wanakiki.
like all drag is valid and all drag is amazing to me. Like the not to like get on a tangent, but like I did put on makeup a couple times and it really strengthened my appreciation of drag. I'm just like, this is not easy.
Nope. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah. And I want to give a platform for those people who uh, need that showcased, you know? So, Wayward Artists, without further ado, it's been real.
It's been real.